The most effective way to remove buckthorn is the cut stump method. First thing you do is simply cut the buckthorn. Using a lopper is the most effective tool for removing buckthorn. This will cut buckthorn anywhere from an inch all the way up to an inch and a half in diameter. If you have a bunch of first or second year growth, you can use a hand clipper. And in some cases where you'll have literally buckthorn trees that are several years old, you will require something like a chainsaw, or a lot of folks will have a sawzall around the garage, and this will work great for cutting through the larger buckthorn growth. The next thing you'll need to do is clear out your cut buckthorn. A couple of things to have for this step are some safety goggles, some nice leather gloves, and a tarp. The gloves and the safety goggles will protect you from the thorns on the buckthorn, which aren't very thorny. They're just little branches, but if they do kind of hit you right on, they can puncture your skin. But it's not necessary, but a nice safety precaution. The tarp will allow you to efficiently stack the buckthorn where you're cutting it and then drag it to a staging area where ideally the city is going to take it away, or you can throw it through a branch shredder and grind it into wood chips. The next thing we need to do is actually kill the buckthorn. What I have here is a buckthorn blaster, which has been filled with glyphosate solution. That is the herbicide found in Roundup. And it is important that you use an 18% strength glyphosate solution. There are various kinds of Roundup available, but you need to make sure it says 18% glyphosate. So we pour that undiluted into the buckthorn blaster, and in this case we just simply dab the freshly cut buckthorn, and that buckthorn is dead. We have put some blue cooking dye into this buckthorn blaster, so after we get into this dense growth of buckthorn, we can see which buckthorns have been treated with the herbicide. If you, and I should say this buckthorn blaster is available at a website called landscaperestoration.com. That's landscape with a hyphen, restoration.com. This is the easiest way to treat the most amount of buckthorn. If you don't have a buckthorn blaster, you can take an old coffee mug and a sponge paintbrush and then just dip into the solution and do the same thing. Just dab the top of the freshly cut buckthorn, and that part of the process is done. The buckthorn is dead. The cut stump method works best during the months of July through February, when the sap is going back down to the roots. If you attempt to do this during the months of March through June, during bud production, when the sap is flowing outward, you won't have nearly as great a success. So the goal is to clear out all this buckthorn. That's the hard part. What we need to do is some follow-up work, and that is done for 5 to 7 years, because these buckthorn berries, after they drop, can sprout for up to 5 to 7 years. So we need to come back after we've cleared this out and make sure that new little buckthorn sprouts aren't taken over. And that is where we would use a foliar application of Roundup. And as we have little 4 to 6 inch buckthorn sprouts, just spray them with the Roundup, and we can keep this area clear of buckthorn. And the goal is 5 to 7 years from now, we will start to see the native plants grow back where they should be.